Hi guys, this is O-Level Chemistry, paper 12, November 2015, question 1. The diagram shows the fractional distillation of an aqueous solution of ethanol. Okay, so we have a mixture of ethanol and water, and we have ethanol present in the beaker. That means ethanol was collected out from this mixture. So which statements explain why ethanol is collected as the distillate? Okay, ethanol has a higher boiling point than water. Okay, so in fractional distillation, if something is collected first, that means it would have a lower boiling point than the other liquid. So in this mixture, ethanol would have a lower boiling point than water. That is why it is collected first. So this option is incorrect. Next, ethanol has a higher melting point than water. Melting point is not considered when we are separating two liquids using fractional distillation. Next, ethanol has a lower boiling point than water. Yes. Next, ethanol has a lower melting point than water. Melting points are not considered. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option C. Question 2. In a titration between an acid in the burette and an alkali, you may need to use the same titration flask. Which is the best procedure for rinsing the flask? Rinse with distilled water. This is correct. And then with alkali, no. When we are rinsing the titration flask, it must not contain any moles of acid or alkali that are taking part in the neutralization reaction that occur during the titration procedure. So we do not need to have any moles of alkali or acid present, so they will not be used while rinsing. Another thing, if we are going to rinse with distilled water, that would make sure that no other ions are present. So this is the correct way, rinsing it with distilled water. Let's see what the other options say. Next, rinse with tap water and then with distilled water. This is also correct because we can use tap water to clean the flask properly and then with distilled water to get rid of any ions that were present in the tap water. Next, rinse with tap water and then with acid. No, we do not rinse with acid. And the last one, rinse with alkali, 100% incorrect. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 3. Which statements are correct? 1. The volume of a gas at constant pressure increases as the temperature increases. This is correct because volume is directly proportional to temperature. So if the temperature would increase, the volume would also increase. Next, the rate of diffusion of a gas increases as the temperature increases. Yes, because the molecules of the gas gain kinetic energy and move more quickly. And quicker movement means greater diffusion. Next, the pressure of a gas at constant volume decreases as the temperature increases. No, pressure is directly proportional to temperature. So if the temperature would increase, the pressure would also increase. And the statement says that the pressure is decreasing. So this statement becomes incorrect. Since statements 1 and 2 are correct, option A is the correct option for this question. Question 4. A colorless solution is known to contain a sodium salt. Tests were carried out to determine the identity of the anion in the solution. Okay. Test dilute hydrochloric acid was added and no reaction was observed. Okay. Dilute nitric acid followed by aqueous silver nitrate, no precipitate. So this does not contain any chloride, bromide, or iodide ion. And dilute nitric acid followed by aqueous barium nitrate. So this does not contain any sulfate or sulfite ion. And dilute hydrochloric acid did not result in any reaction taking place. So this does not contain any carbonate ions as well. So by the process of elimination, we are only left with the nitrate ion because no other anions listed in the test for anions was present in our solution. Therefore, which anion could the solution contain? Carbonate? No. chloride no, nitrate yes, sulfate no. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option C. Question 5. Which physical changes are both exothermic? Condensation and evaporation. So, condensation is loss of energy because we have a change of state from gas to liquid. So, this would be exothermic. And evaporation is a change of state from liquid to gas. So, there would be a gain of energy. So, this would be endothermic. Next, evaporation and melting. Evaporation is endothermic because there is a change of state from liquid to gas, and melting is a change of state from solid to liquid, which is also an endothermic process because when a solid gains energy, then only it would melt. Next, freezing and condensation. Freezing is change of state from liquid to solid, which would only be possible when the temperature decreases, which means energy would be given off. So this is exothermic. And condensation. Condensation is a change of state from gas to liquid, which is also an exothermic process. And next, melting. Melting is an endothermic process because there is a gain of energy in order to change the state from solid to liquid. And freezing is an exothermic process because there is a change of state from liquid to solid by releasing energy. So the option with both physical changes being exothermic are present in option C, making C the correct option for this question. Question 6. The following data may refer to the atom or to the ion of the same element. The electronic configuration is 288. The nucleon number is 40 and the proton number is 20. Okay, so if we look at the given options, the proton number would clearly tell us which element it is. So argon has a proton number of 18. It is not argon. Calcium has a proton number of 20. Chlorine has a proton number of 17 and neon has a proton number of 10. So it is clearly calcium, but let's look at the other things as well. The nucleon number of calcium is 40, that is correct. And the electronic configuration of calcium is 2882, which means the electronic configuration is referring to the Ca2 positive ion in which there is a loss of 2 electrons from the outermost shell. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 7. A molecule of sulfuric acid has the structural formula shown. How many electrons are involved in forming all the covalent bonds in one molecule? So, a single covalent bond is formed by 2 electrons being shared. So, every single bond would have 2 electrons and every double bond would have 4 electrons present. So, all we need to do is count. So, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 16. Since there are 4 double bonds, so 8 electrons, and there are 4 single bonds, so 8 electrons, and 2 double bonds, so 8 electrons. 8 plus 8 is 16, making option D the correct option for this question. Question 8. A metal consists of a lattice of positive ions in a sea of electrons. What happens to the electrons and positive ions in a metal wire when electrical current is passed through it? So, electrons are replaced by new electrons because they are moving, yes. And positive ions are replaced by new ions, no. Positive ions are not moving. So, replaced by new electrons, yes. Unchanged, yes. So, options C and D have been eliminated because they are saying that electrons do not move. Whereas option A is eliminated because it is saying that positive ions also move. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 9. The apparatus shown is set up to plate a steel key with copper. The key does not get coated with copper. Which change needs to be made to plate the key? Increase the concentration of the aqueous copper to sulfate. If it is not being coated, then change in the concentration will have no effect. Increase the voltage. Again, if it is not being coated, then increasing the voltage will have no effect. Replace the solution with dilute sulfuric acid. That would not result in copper being coated. And reverse the electrical connections. Let's see. So the key is connected to the positive electrode, which is the anode. That is the problem here. And the copper plate is at the cathode. So during the process, the cathode is coated with the ion. So if the key needs to be coated, it needs to be placed at the cathode, and the copper electrode needs to be the anode, so that the anode dissolves, producing Cu2 positive ions, and the Cu2 positive ions are deposited at the cathode, which would be the steel key. So yes, reversing the electrical connections would result in the steel key being coated with copper. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option D. Question 10. What is the number of moles of hydrogen atoms in 3.2 grams of methane? So the formula of methane is CH4. Its MR is 12 plus 4 is 16. Therefore, the number of moles of methane would be 3.2 grams divided by 16, giving us 0.2 moles. So the moles of methane present is 0.2. Now, 1 mole of methane contains 4 moles of hydrogen atoms. Therefore, molar ratio is 1 is to 4. So, if 0.2 moles of methane are present, therefore, moles of hydrogen atoms would be 4 into 0.2, which would give us a value of 0.8, making option D the correct option for this question.